So God makes a covenant with Abram and says that he and his wife Sarah will be a descendant of many nations. And indeed, the entire world shall be blessed through them. But here's the problem. It wasn't happening. God had protected them when they left their homeland, had provided for them along the way. But the most important part of this promise coming to pass, a baby, hadn't happened yet. It had been 11 years since God had started this thing and still no child. If you've ever struggled to get pregnant, then you know what it's like for the pressure to build up over time. As time goes on and there's still no baby, more and more that elephant gets bigger and bigger in the room. Like, what's the deal? People have been doing this since the beginning of time. Why isn't this happening for us? I can imagine the pressure was becoming more than Abram and Sarai could bear. I mean, he was 85 years old at this point. What is wrong with us? God said this was going to happen, and it's not. How long before God shows up and moves on to somebody else that can fulfill their end of the bargain? And so Sarah and Abram take matters into their own hands. But the problem is, when people take God's promises into their own hands, it rarely ever pans out the way we think it will. Sarai takes her servant Hagar as a surrogate and gives her to Abram, and does indeed get pregnant with Abram's first son. But things don't go well after that. Sarai, thinking she would be able to handle it, realizes that she cannot. And upon consent from Abram, deals harshly with Hagar. So harshly, in fact, that she runs away from the family. Now, we can be sympathetic here to Sarai and Abram if we really try to. But make no mistakes, there are consequences for running out ahead of God's plans for us. And even though God has been known throughout history to recalculate when we turn left instead of right, just like our car GPSs that somehow get us back to the main road in the end, there's always a cost. Indeed, this misstep by Sarai and Abram will have reverberations throughout the centuries, all because they lost faith in God's promise. But our God is an amazing God. God can take messed up families and situations and redeem them, even if they were not a part of the original plan. In fact, that's God's speciality.